Good morning, Americans. This is your favorite alien here on the morning of Saturday, November 12th, 2022. Sitting in for Paul Harvey this morning. Stand by for the rest of the story. Well, today's story is centered on a term you used very often. And whether it applies today or do you have it today? The story begins in Siam, present-day Thailand. You all seen Yul Brynner and the King and I, right? Yeah. Well, the Siamese king of about his time, and there was no singing and dancing like Yul Brynner in there, and the ones before him were very uptight kings. And like any other monarchs at any time in history, they've had their detractors. Yeah. And what to do about those rivals or detractors, huh? Well, what to do with President Trump today? Or Joe Biden? Either way, what to do with those two guys, huh? Or even McCarthy and McConnell and Pelosi, huh? Yeah. Well, this goes back to the story that I'm telling you, Americans, and Mr. Harvey told you this story way back in the 70s. But I'm adding a little wrinkle to the story, okay? Like he said in this story, the kings of Siam and before them their predecessors had a hard time with their opposition and pain in the neck pretenders, the great pretender, or Bonnie Prince Charlie, whichever one you want to look at. Well, their choice was like any other ruler. Well, we can take their head off, execute them, yahoo! Yeah, well, that has a backlash, doesn't it? We could assassinate them. Oh, yeah, wow, that has another backlash. We could imprison them. Yeah, that has another backlash to that, don't it? We can send them to this faraway place and represent our empire. But why would you want an enemy exiled to a next place and represent your country or empire, right? Yeah. So you see, they had all kinds of problems. Yeah. So this one king from Siam, nobody knows who or when or what, decided, okay, we can't do that because we lose every time. And you Americans can't do it either because you lose every time. So what do you do with your opponent? Well, you try to make his life miserable, but without being the miserable guy that you are. And you Americans do it all the time. And you got a term for it, which is the rest of the story. So this one king decided to research, and he came up with the unique thing. In Asia, it's a very cherished gift. The Chinese called it, if you give this gift, you get the one God, and let me see if I pronounce this right, Zai. If you're Chinese, I'm not pronouncing it right, please excuse me. But that is where it came from. If you give it in kindness, well, the person cannot refuse it and must accept it. The only problem is you can't accept it. Because in the long run, you Christmas Americans who like to, how do you put the term these days? Oh yeah, re-gift. Yeah. And you're going to do that next month, aren't you? Re-gift the gift that you got. Yeah. Just make sure you don't send it to the people they sent it to you in the first place. That could be very tacky. Well, continuing with the story here from Paul Harvey. So the king of Siam decided, okay, I got it. And he had this uh, nameless rival, pretender, whatever you want to call him, enemy. Well, he didn't like the king, and the king didn't like him. But he could do nothing. If he executed him, well, that would cost a lot of martyrdoms. If he would throw him to prison, well, that would really make him a big guy, right? If he would assassinate him, well, the king would be number one on the hit list there. So he says, okay. So he called him into the palace. And he presented them this, the best gift that anybody can receive from the king. Okay? And when the guy saw his gift, he fell on the floor because he knew he was done. He had to get himself up and get himself right to normal. Make himself right, because he couldn't be embarrassed and embarrass the king at the same time. That was a no-no in those days, remember? So he accepted the gift. And about 4 months later, he returned the gift because he couldn't take care of the gift anymore. Yeah, the gift is so expensive that nobody could take care of the gift, not even the king. Because the gift is a curse and a gift at the same time. The curse is you ruin your life with the gift, but you have to accept the gift because you can't deny the gift. And the rest of the story, Americans, is what is the gift? Well, some of you already got it, most of you don't, but the gift is a white elephant. So that's what you need to do, is to give these guys a white elephant. You guys already had a white elephant. Most of you in your lives have. It ruins you, don't it? Until you give it back. Remember the Edsel? How many of you have bought Fords? Pintos? Yahoo! Or any other gift. Remember when you used to go to Montgomery Wards and buy a gift and you had to return them? Yo! Those are white elephants. Something you have to return before it bankrupts you. And that's what the king did to his guy. And the only way you're going to get rid of Donald Trump, Joseph Biden, Pelosi, McConnell, McCarthy, and any bad guys that you have, is give them that gift. Sitting in for Paul Harvey, this is your favorite alien. Good day.